Always thought they should move to High Market. Then they'd make enough to eat.
You've been very kind. Thank you. Ahem. Dear listeners, a solo performance I have for you today. Prepare to be awed by beats of verse and memory. But before the show begins, perhaps a demonstration to whet your appetites. Follow me on an auditory adventure, a tour of the living lands and its most wild creatures. First, let me introduce you to the mating call of the Stelgar, the ruin of so many. A silent and stealthy feline. Few have heard its call, and fewer still have lived to tell the tale. Hold your applause, my dear friends. There's more to come. Perhaps you've heard the music still talking. After all,
I wouldn't go up there, stranger. That... Hail. I take it you're new to these parts? If so, you're going to want to heed my advice. Up these stairs is the Pearl District. Ever since the Sparrowhawks took over, it's become a right deadly place. A group of smugglers, vicious killers, the lot of them, as far as I'm concerned. Oh, watch out for their leader. He's a big, mean bastard, that one.
Big? No offense, but I've eaten chickens bigger than you.
Says you, fish man. Can you believe the cheek on that one? Thala the Taskmaster, they call him. An ogre, if you can believe it. Only seen him once, myself, and I hope it stays that way. Worthy? You Adirans are a right concerning bunch. Regardless, may the Lord of the Hunt watch over you.
If the militia had any formal instruction, they'd get it here.
No. Nice when the city was still locked down.
Excuse me? What in the God's name are you talking about?
Think about it. Nobody coming in and out. No smugglers to look out for. No more Deerans coming into the city.
You actually kind of have a fair
You're a
point
damn
there.
good shot, you know that?
Oh, I'm well aware. But thank you. It's very sweet.
Where'd you learn to shoot like that?
You really want to know the answer to that question?
You know what? Maybe it's better that I don't.
You there! Are you just going to stand there and gawk at that body all day?
Envoy?
Huh? You, what are you doing? This is a crime scene. That's evidence. I've seen worse. We'll get to the bottom of this.
You know what you're doing.
What is that fragrance? It's intoxicating.
It's not polite to eavesdrop on.
I don't have time for another prospect.
Just stand there. Come in. Ballaroc's always open. Sit down. What do you want? If you want information, I've got it. Just a matter of what you'll pay for it. The locals are worried about the steel garrote coming into town. Whatever Wodica wants, she's bound to find it. There's a rumor about a valuable Pargroon stash north of here. You didn't hear that from me, though. It's getting more expensive to bring produce in from Fjord. Whatever's going on, that doesn't bode well. Some Svef user told me he had a vision out by the eastern ruins. Not sure what that's worth to you. Just stand there. Come in. Welcome.
It has to be tonight. Why? I've already paid off the guard. Then, the Claviger's housekeeper will leave the side door unlocked. I'll go in, you keep watch.
This isn't right. Stealing from a dead man? Go eavesdrop on someone else.
You saved my life. You would have killed me, and all for a few coins.
Think. Nothing to see here, Envoy. The situation's under control. I caught this waste of life mugging a protected citizen. I just did what came naturally.
I thought all Paradisans were protected citizens.
These things happen from time to time. Inquisitor Ludwine understands. I assume you do too. Maybe you're not convinced. Give it time. You'll come around.
Sounds like someone wants to hear she made the right choice. This may not be the prettiest part of town, but it's got the grinning Ballarok.
Don't go starting trouble.
You should see the drunks try to grab the lanterns. Gets me every
I'd bet my
time.
life on it.
Gods, I hope this works.
Results in as few as 3 to 8 weeks. Guaranteed.
Envoy.
Next one's mine. Oh, no.
Guess Adiran discipline doesn't apply to pest control.
Who's ready for more?
It's really you! I mean, we all heard the Emperor sent a godlike, but I didn't never think I'd get to meet you. You are the envoy, aren't you? I bow, but I think I dislocated my shoulder, and I might have broken some ribs. Is that the lady who brought you back from the dead? Tej, the ambassador's secretary. He told me you got sniped the second you walked through the gate. Thwack! I couldn't believe it. I mean, talk about getting off on the wrong foot. Anyway, don't worry about me. The Sawbones is going to escort me to the clinic any minute. And I'm not exactly in a hurry to see him. Not until I get help from my brother.
If Adir's medics are anything like Rowatai's, we'll hear your screams from 3 blocks away.
Oh, good. That'll be a lot of fun for everyone. My brother, Cadman, and I ran into some trouble exploring a temple north of the city. Bears and traps and guards. What else? The floor collapsed from under us. He couldn't walk too well, and yet our captain wanted to keep going, so he sent me back for help. We're with a team from the Free Expedition Corps. We've seen a lot, but no place like this. I fear for their lives, Envoy. It's built on ruins, and the ruins are falling apart. Because of the roots, you know, and the earthquakes. We're looking for the man who built the temple, someone the locals call the Oracle. He's well, he's like you. A godlike. He belongs to Aethys. And if the rumors are true, he's the very last of his kind.
Take it from me. Around here, the rumors always have some truth to them.
We just want to talk to him. That's why we went down there. Now my brother's hurt, and my team's in danger, and I'm stuck here and...
Take it easy, kid.
Sorry. Everyone at the embassy's too busy to help me, and I'm worried sick. Gods, do you mean it? I can't thank you enough. They descended into the temple through a route off the Pilgrim's Path, just north of the city. You'll know you're headed the right way when you see trail markers and rock stacks the Pilgrims left behind. We posted a guard out front, Sedgwin. Let her know I sent you, and she'll let you pass. Well, I gather there were folks who worshipped Aethys. And they'd come to this temple from all over the living lands to pray, or be healed, or to ask forgiveness. But Aethys isn't too popular these days, so...
So, most people don't go there anymore.
Right. Exactly. The Oracle is said to possess a holy relic that belonged to Aethys. A part of the god's Titan body. This Oracle, I don't know if he's dangerous, but he's supposed to carry a sword full of diamonds. I'll probably never get to see it now. Cadman's not gonna believe his eyes when he sees you. You'll probably find the expedition with the relic we were searching for. Whatever that is. Thank you for hearing me out, Envoy.
Wouldn't want their diplomats going hungry or sober.
You died. None of the clerks believe my story. Still can't believe you're alive.
Envoy, is it really you? I can't believe you're alive. When they dragged you to Liviana's clinic, I assumed the worst. How do you feel? Not even death can slow you down, I see. But we'll return to the topic of your untimely demise shortly. Our first order of business is your purpose here in the Living Lands. You said you had a missive for me from the Emperor? Very good. I'm eager to see what our Emperor intends. Now, His Majesty names you a loyal servant of the Adiran Empire, and an extension of the throne's authority. Thank goodness. At least someone understands the gravity of our situation. And I can't think of anyone more suited for the job. You've seen how wild the Living Lands has become, both in nature and in politics. Sometimes I think the island has a mind of its own. No sooner had you arrived than you found yourself at the center of our troubles. Trust me, we'll get to that. This embassy has no shortage of political foes, but the Dream Scourge is what keeps me up at night. You've seen firsthand what it can do in nature. We can't let it reach the cities. Inquisitor Ludwig thinks the plague is a distraction. She's more concerned about these local rebels fighting against the Empire. They were paradisans once, law-abiding laborers. Now, they're fugitives and oath-breakers hiding amongst the populace. They've sabotaged our work, killed our soldiers, and the final straw, attacked you out in the open.
All the more reason to strike first, or so the thinking goes.
Whatever their reason, we have to retaliate for the good of the Empire. I won't lie to you, Envoy. Our position is tenuous. If we can't even defend ourselves, how are we to defend the Living Lands? But defend it we must, for the sake of everyone who calls this island home. Inquisitor Ludwig demands that someone hang for the attempt on your life. These Paradisan rebels must face justice. Ludwig goes where she likes, haunting the Living Lands like a vengeful spirit. She'll reappear when she chooses, and not a moment sooner. Let's make sure to give her some good news for a change.
Not many get a chance to solve their own murder, you know. I know someone who could help. A dwarven tracker named Marius. Kith or beast, there's little he can't find. He's staying at the Grinning Ballarrock, not far from Liviana's infirmary. We just take the main road east to the market, then head down the stairs and cross the canal. Rough part of town, even by the standards of Paradise. Marius is from the Tusks, about the harshest and remotest place the gods ever created, even by the standards of the Living Lands.
Trickery, lies. The gods did not build this place.
Let's just say no one survives out there without picking up a few skills, the kind we'll need if we're going to find hidden assassins. Especially if they're from the streets of Paradise.
I suggest you recruit as many allies as you can, but choose carefully. They, like you, will represent the Empire. Before we can send you off to parts unknown, we need assurances from the local healer that you're fully recovered. After all, you survived a brush with death. The health of your body is one thing. The health of your soul is another. An unusual course of treatment, but who am I to argue? Remember, the assassin is out there. You have the element of surprise. I suggest you use it.
Tracking down mysterious assassins with a godlike who returned from death, all while the rumored Dream Scourge spreads. Can't say I'm prepared, but I'm ready.
We'll talk more of the Dream Scourge when you return. Until then, Envoy.
How about we start with Marius at the Grinning Ballarok? Besides, I could use a drink after all this.
Envoy, hello. I'm glad to see you on your feet. Kai.
Tej.
I'm surprised they let you in here.
I'm surprised you're still gainfully employed.
It's nothing like that. You run into all sorts of characters around here, is all. Some more polite than others. I didn't mean anything by it, Envoy. He's just curious company for you to keep.
Hey, somebody has to have the envoys back, because you all sure did it.
No one expected the Envoy to get assassinated.
Exactly. Amateurs. Well.
Kai?
Come on, it's funny. Tej caused a ruckus last time he was slumming it at the Ballarok. You were trying to kill a man, if I remember right. I had to put you outside.
You threw me into the canal.
You lived.
That water's filthy. I had the runs for 3 days.
Gods, Tej. The envoy doesn't need to know that. Yeah, but now you'll never think of Tej the same way again, will you? And now he'll never think of you the same way either.
Let's not make more of it than it was. I shouldn't have said anything. The fellow cheated me. I couldn't let that slide. Or he'd think we were all marks.
It was over a dice game, right? Tej here has a gambling problem.
Great. Let's air all my troubles. Is there anything else?
The bartender sleeping with your girlfriend.
You're lying.
You sure about that?
We'll talk about this later.
I'm not breaking up with her for you. Just so we're clear.
That's more than enough. Thank you. Was there anything I could help you with, Envoy? Naturally, sir. How can I help you? What would you like to know? If you're looking for a particular year, the first thing you should know about Paradise is that this isn't the kind of place where the locals keep records. And though it might be considered a distant backwater by the rest of the world, this city is the height of civilization by the standards of the living lands. As for who calls this place home, I suspect you could find a criminal, confidence man, or prophet from every civilization in the world here.
Hey, come on. You're gonna give the envoy the wrong idea. We've got draft dodgers, courtesans, and revolutionaries, too. You know, all the fun people.
In any event, as far as I can tell, Paradise has been this way since its inception. Thus the eclectic display of architectural styles. If nothing else, this city is a reflection of the countless people who have passed through it on their way to the interior. Depends on who you ask. Ambassador Heelgard will tell you that our remit here is to establish a secure and orderly environment from which to engage in trade. Inquisitor Liudwin will tell you we're here to break the frontier.
So, which is it?
Why not both? That's where you come in. Whether you find your desires aligning with the ambassadors or the inquisitors, neither can succeed until the Dream Scourge is ended. We are only beginning to see its effects here in Dawnshore, but the closer to the center of the island you go, the worse it gets. That bear you and the ambassador encountered in the Strangle Route isn't even the worst of it, and the tide of this soul plague is rising higher every day. Look, For all that I complain about this backwater, there are good people here. Same as anywhere else. People who want to be able to walk to the market in the morning for their bread and eggs and know they won't be mugged. People who like it when the mail comes on time, and their skates are made from real copper, and their neighborhood peeping Tom ends up in the stocks. Those people, good and honest people, who pay their debts and honor their contracts and remember to thank the gods, they like us a lot. The Resistance, as such, are largely a group of misfits and criminals intent on undermining the rule of law. They take out loans with small Adiran banking houses and do not pay them, then assault the bankers who attempt to collect. They agree to contracts with families in Adir seeking homes, and when their ships arrive, promptly abandon them. When we levy a small tax to fund the repair of city roads, they set our counting house on fire. And when our fishermen return to port, they board their ships and sink them.
That's certainly one way to characterize them. It's not exactly wrong, but it's not exactly right either.
For decades, people like them ruled this city through fear. We imposed order, and now they oppose us. You, unfortunately, were caught in the crossfire. By all means. There's a lot of ground to cover. Could you be more specific? Ah, the age-old question. Who's bigger? Adir is, naturally, by a wide margin. And were we at the Cartographers Guild in High Crown, I could show you on one of their globes. As it is, we must make do in the theater of our minds. The Living Lands are located in the far north of Aora. Adir is southwest of the Living Lands, situated along the equator. The Living Lands are more arid than Adir, and the island is more prone to storms. But its many deep valleys protect the various townships from the worst of the weather. Topographically speaking, the Living Lands are a place of extremes. Deep inland, mountains rise high enough to rival those of the White March, blanketed year-round in snow. While east of the volcano of Mount Forja is an acid sea that sinks far below the level of the ocean. The lands between them are riven with deep clefts in the earth and isolated by wastelands of sun-baked sand dunes. I'll share what I can. There is no singular authority in the Living Lands.
Not yet, anyway.
I shudder to think what the Living Lands would look like under your rule.
Well, to start, there'd be a lot more brothels.
Charming. Power is invested in the leaders of the various townships scattered across the island. The largest are Fjord, Thirdborn, and Solace. None of which, I will note, are as safe and orderly as Paradise. Fjord Messaverno is located in a valley known locally as the Emerald Stair, named for the terraced rice paddies that cover its hillsides. It is our closest neighbor. The city, if you can call it that, was founded 50 years ago by animancers from the Valian Republics. Apparently, the laws governing animancy weren't lenient enough in the Republics. So the city's founders came to the Living Lands, where they could practice their discipline more freely. Currently, Fjord is governed by a man named Ignacy Vidaro. Rather inept to hear the ambassador talk about him. Fjord's farmers supply most of the grain and vegetables we eat here in Paradise. Or it did. Their shipments have been infrequent lately. Something about a blight in the fields. In any event, I believe that covers Fjord. The Valian Republics are a collection of city-states in the Eastern Reach, southeast of our former colony, the Deerwood. The Republics began life as colonies of the Grand Empire of Valia, hence the name. But as Grand Valia's economy collapsed, well, the colony saw an opportunity to escape the influence of the Empire of Origin, and they seceded, much as the Deerwood did from Adir. Now a mature confederation in their own right, the Republics have recently indulged their own expansionist ambitions in the Deadfire Archipelago. Through their merchants in the Valian Trading Company, the Republics will sell you anything you could ever wish to buy.
Up to and including people.
We should count ourselves lucky to have had no interest in the Living Lands. in a struggle between our Emperor and the Republic's great dukes. Well, I doubt we would come out on top. But if anyone asks, I was not the one who told you that. Everything you need to know about Thirdborn is in its name. It was founded by the Thirdborn children of Rawatai, Navy dropouts, smugglers, and hands for hire. Almawa and Orleans, mostly.
Home, sweet home.
You're free to go back any time you like.
I like my current circumstances just fine, thanks.
They are people, in short, who couldn't cut it in the civilized world and had to make room on the margins. Unfortunately, they are currently besieged by the Dream Scourge. We have sent some troops to lend what help we can, and the mayor, Temerity, was appropriately grateful, but I don't know how long they'll hold out. Rawatai is one of the old empires, every bit as storied as Grand Valia or our native Adir. If Adir is to the southwest of the Living Lands, Rawatai is to the southeast. And unlike our home, their small continent is racked by terrible storms. This is due, or rather, was due, to the island's proximity to Andra's mortar, the unending super hurricane that once hid the ancient city of Ukaizo. Rawatai is largely peopled by Almawa, descended from those who fled the Deadfire Archipelago centuries ago, when Andra pulled the moon, Ioni Brather, into the sea. They are an aggressive, militant culture, and personally I find their obsession with gunpowder rather quaint. They are also our chief rivals on the world stage.
I don't think they see it that way.
No?
Well, as far as Navy brass is concerned, Adir doesn't really rate.
Now you're just making things up.
Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but we don't think about you at all.
Solace is, what is there to say, really?
Yeah, they tend to have that effect on people.
The trouble is, I don't know much about Solace. Nobody does. They are an isolationist community of Pargrunan dwarves who live in the forbidding ways of Galawain's tusks. They don't let outsiders into their lands, and they don't let their people out of them.
Some folks get out from time to time, but they can't ever go back. And the ones who survive aren't eager to talk about their experiences.
People aside, the land itself is incredibly hostile. The island's volcano, Mount Forja, rests at the heart of the region, and it's recently become active. Half the land is lava rock, and the other half is, well, literally lava. I don't know why anyone lives there. I have to assume they're all insane.
You have no idea.
Naturally. The Pargrunan are a unique community of mountain dwarves originating in Old Valia. As a people, they've made their name as explorers, builders, miners. No doubt you've seen their ruins in your travels, here, back home in Adir, and all across the world. They maintain a rich tradition of oral storytelling, chanted magics, and ritual carving, which they take great pains to record and transmit across their various communities. Even the most physically isolated Pargrun is not alone. Somewhere, one of their people is thinking of them and planning an expedition. Abidan must cherish them.
You sound like you admire them.
I suppose I do. Of course. Well, you'll notice I'm nearly always here. If that man sleeps, I don't know about it. He wouldn't say, but I believe he relied on the Claviger far more than he lets on. And without the Claviger's steady hand at the rudder, the ambassador's struggling just to bail water from the sinking ship that is Paradise.
Claviger Aemon might have tolerated a little more chaos than the ambassador liked, but he kept this place humming. He's not someone you can easily replace, and not with one man alone.
It's a difficult job. The pressure sometimes gets the better of him. But if he loses his temper now and then, I can't blame him for it. Better him than me. He doesn't know what to do with himself. You know, in our first days here, he'd often walk to the end of the docks at sunrise. The work was done, the embassy was closed. and he'd still be wearing the same clothes he'd slept in at his desk. And he'd just stare out over the sea. He always seemed dissatisfied back then. I suppose years later, he still does. Be serious. Most of us here didn't get sent to the frontier because we were anybody's favorite. The longer I'm here, the more likely the people who matter are to forget me. And I'd actually like to get back to High Crown someday. Get married, have a few kids, take the civil exams, and settle into a permanent clerkship.
I guess there are worse ways to spend a life.
Like rotting in this embassy. I'm an open book. Off freak, I did. Terrible shame what happened to his brother. It sounds like his injuries were severe. I saw you two talking. I hope you can help him, Envoy. Oh, that's a relief. Cadman is a good kid, cannier than his brother, and wasted on those glorified tomb robbers. You're the only one we have with the expertise for that kind of field work.
Aside from the people in trouble down there, which says something to the danger in that cave.
Whatever I think of the Expeditions Corps, they serve a vital purpose to the Empire. I'm glad it's you going after them. I trust whomever told you to consult a Watcher also told you to avoid the one in the city. She is a liar and a thief.
Oh, did you take your money?
No. Anyway, Watchers are individuals capable of perceiving souls. The soul may be in a living body, or it may simply be lingering, waiting to pass into the in-between. In either case, interacting with a soul allows a Watcher to glimpse a person's past lives or their most deeply buried memories. Watchers are incredibly rare, and in Adir, highly controlled. Many people wish to know who they were in a previous life, and do not like what they learn. A Watcher doesn't need your cooperation or consent to read your soul. They could learn everything about you, terribly damaging things about your parentage, for example, or things you did in a past life, without you ever knowing. You see how this could threaten the established order, undermine our betters' right to rule.
Yeah, but that's just one side to it. Imagine how a Watcher feels, knowing what a threat they are to the status quo. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't be keen on kings and emperors wanting me dead. Sounds like a lot of hassle.
Don't sell yourself short, Kai. I don't doubt you're an expert in people wanting you dead.
You're not wrong.
I rarely am, in any case. The Watcher is fundamentally a tragic figure. Of the few that survive our world, most are destined to go mad. The smart ones stay hidden. They do not announce their powers, perhaps not even to themselves. Even a careful Watcher risks inadvertently revealing themselves by knowing something they shouldn't know. Of the ones that are public, little is concretely known. But we hear things. They make good judges in Woedica's courts, so long as they're controlled. The lords, it's rumored, buy and sell them to collect blackmail on their enemies. But I suspect many Watchers are imprisoned or executed, or simply kill themselves. Yes and no. So far as I understand it, a Watcher is born a Watcher. But it takes an event, often something shocking or traumatic, to bring a Watcher's powers to the fore. So you may be a Watcher, or I may be, or Kai, and we might not even know. Well, the Watcher of Cadnua is legendary. It was their castle Aethys destroyed when he began his campaign of terror in the Dead Fire. Oh, by the Queen, I hope I get to meet them someday. In terms of local interest, you'll have heard of Runid, of course. And there was Ida. You may not know about her. She was a Watcher from the Living Lands. I believe she was an Orlin. She must have died, 150 years ago. Slain by a great serpent, gods treat kindly with her soul. Doubtless there are others, but most don't meet a good end. I don't think so.
The Envoy is right. You're basically a Watcher encyclopedia.
Why should a secretary be limited to knowledge of filing systems and how the ambassador takes his tea? I was a boy once. Watchers were a special interest of mine when I was young.
He sounds defensive to me. Does he sound defensive to you, Envoy?
I am not a Watcher.
Exactly what a Watcher would say.
Both of you, please, your fun puts me at tremendous risk. This isn't a subject the Inquisitor takes lightly.
All right, all right. I know you're not a Watcher, Teach. You'd be better at dice.
Apology accepted. Of course. Consider yourself lucky. Inquisitor Ludwine is the commander of the Steel Garrote in Paradise. Were you to ask her, she'd say she keeps the peace. But she doesn't keep it so much as prosecute it. As ruthlessly as the ambassador will let her. She's also a veteran of the Steel Garrote's campaign in the Deathfire, where she died.
She's a Death Guard. Well, that explains a lot.
I don't know what happened to her there, but I suppose Wodica wasn't done with her yet. I only met her once. She was a mid-level member of the Steel Garrote then, chasing oathbreakers who'd fled Adiran law. She'd come back to the Imperial Archives to borrow a map to a place called Oathbinder's Sanctum. I remember she was furious because the map was quite poor. She worried about finding the place, about properly executing her duty to her god. She wanted, I think, to do a good job. So, while clearly she has changed, in some sense, I'd say she's much the same. Death Guards are surpassingly rare. Some of the secretaries who traveled with our dignitaries in the Deathfire spoke of one named Iser, a devotee of Berith, who guards the hanging sepulchres there. But I've heard of no others except those I've read about in the histories, or, as you say, in stories. They are people, most often paladins or priests, so devoted to a cause that they simply refuse to pass on to the wheel when they die. Their soul haunts their body. The passion required to sustain them devours their flesh, and they swiftly turn to bone. I've never read a history nor tale of a Death Guard that did not end with them going quite mad. When they lose their capacity to care for anything but their cause, they cannot love. And when they cannot love, they cannot be merciful. And so everything before them becomes only an obstacle. Do you think so? I've always found her inflexibility comforting. Wodica's edicts are clear. If you obey her laws, pursue justice, punish the guilty, and give fealty to the Emperor, then you have pleased her, and I aim to please. But Wodica does not trust. She demands that you declare yourself for her again and again. Her every request is a test, and her every test is an opportunity to disappoint her. I appreciate a god who makes you work for their grace. I don't want anything given to me for free. Think upon your promises and die. That's the litany of the Steel Garrote, usually said right before they kill you. They're an order of paladins born and bred in Adir, though clearly they've found plenty of work beyond our borders. Their remit is simple but comprehensive. They punish all who break their oaths. In practice, that has historically meant contracts. One lord or merchant will hire the Steel Garrote to bring a duplicitous rival to justice.
Fun bunch. What are they doing in Paradise?
Since the events in the Deathfire, their operations have expanded. The Steel Garrote has always been associated with Wodica. Now, they are explicitly her order. And they go wherever Wodica's priests, or Wodica herself, believes there is a need for them to go. The Living Lands are a dangerous, lawless frontier in sore need of order. Thus, they are here. Or so the Steel Garrote say. by all means. Should you ever need me, I will be here. Safe travels, Envoy.
You've got some god looking out for you.
Sometimes we get more contraband coming through here than honest goods.
Well, I'll be chomped by a Zaret queen. Oh, that godlike from the docks. I can't believe my luck. Nothing all year, and then boom, interesting strangers just falling out of the sky. Indeed. A young dwarf and his crew stopped by. Seemed agitated, like they were afraid of someone. They were asking all sorts of people. Seems like I was the only one willing to really speak to them. They were asking where they could find luminous Adra, of all things. Can't imagine what they'd needed it for. I said they were most likely out of luck, but I might know somewhere they might find some if they looked hard enough. Not long ago, a group of animancers looked to carry out some experiments into teleportation. They carried their instruments and a healthy supply of luminous Adra to the island of Castel's Folly. It's possible there's some still there. Oh, I'm afraid not. No, those people were never seen again. That's why I think their Adra might still be there. Question, why are you looking for those sailors? Did the Valian captain send you? I wouldn't worry. The smugglers are probably getting themselves killed searching for something that isn't there.
Envoy, got a situation over here. Oh, good. You came over. Glad to see you're up and about.
For fuck's sake, can we move this along? I don't have all day.
I'm glad. I hate to admit it, but the guards could use your help. Most of us are off searching for the ones who attacked you. That leaves us short-handed, so people like her try to sneak in. I caught this one, but I have to check her cart for contraband. There's a lot to dig through. Find anything? Find anything?
Finally! Someone with some common sense around here.
All right. If he says so, you can go. Welcome to Paradise.
Much appreciated, Envoy. Appreciate you stepping in.
This is where you fell. Don't count on anyone cleaning up the bloodstain anytime soon.
Paradise. Did we not come here to escape? You, Adirin! You herald the end of our way of life! You are a scourge upon our city! The citizens of Paradise have come to hear the truth. They need to know what will befall us if we do not deal with you. You represent everything they stand for. You will find no peace here.
The Adirans aren't going anywhere. You might as well get used to it.
Do you really think the Adirans killed the Claviger? Huh?
Don't sign any petitions, no matter what anyone says.
I'm telling you, that so-called Watcher is a fraud.
Excuse me, are you going to see the Watcher? Phaeton, at your service. I study the gods. Respectfully, of course. And Theo here is a student of,
Post-mortal cognition. I examine who we are in death and what we recall of it in life. Abstractly, of course.
We aren't animancers, in case you were concerned. Oh, thank the gods. The last thing we need is trouble from the Inquisitor. My friend and I are metaphysical philosophers, and we have hit a bit of a snag.
If you want to run, now's our chance.
I say Watchers are a hoax, and he says Watchers are magical, all-knowing windows into the afterlife.
Well, we picked opinions out of a hat, and now we're defending them.
That's why we need outside help. We know that Watchers can look into souls and read people, but that's about it.
That isn't how philosophy works.
Doesn't matter. I won the argument, so pay up.
Thank you for your perspective, Envoy. We'll trouble you no more.
You ever meet people who have too much free time on their hands?
God, please, hear my prayers.
They say a strong soul can withstand this dream scourge. She'll see that mine's healthy, right? Let's take... Hey, wait your turn!
Watcher sees all. The Watcher knows all. Your soul, envoy. Your very soul is in danger. The Watcher can see it. The Watcher knows. An envoy. A godlike. Two destinies come together. How curious. Do not mock the Watcher, godlike. The Watcher sees many things. The Watcher can see into your soul. The Watcher knows. There is a soul plague descending onto the city, godlike. A plague that will endanger you. But the Watcher can see that your soul may still be saved. A gracious soul you have. A wealthy soul. The Watcher reveals what is there, godlike. Some may already be revealed. The Watcher must eat to help, godlike. The Watcher asks for little in return. Ugh, why come to me at all, then, if you're so clever? Ugh, my trade's been cut off since the city closed, and I have to make ends meet. At least I'm giving people hope. Can you Adiran say the same?
The Dream Scourge is only going to bring more people like her out of the woodwork.
She told me to go see a man about a cure. She said he had an elixir.
Whatever you need, discretion guaranteed. An Adiran? Come to see my wares? Well, don't I feel blessed? Where are my manners? Name's Cutty. I'm a trader of lost things. They come my way, I peddle them for people like you to find. long as there's people in the city, there's merchandise to be found and sold.
I had a guy ask me whether dreams had a taste here once. I know I feel safe with the guard presence around here. There's a joke about Paradis' government here somewhere. It's so quiet, you almost wouldn't know you're still in Paradis. Shame a perfectly good house has to sit around empty.
Sorry, envoy. The Clavager's estate is closed. It's the envoy. Get him!
Here we go! Come and get me! Weapon's not doing the job. Armor won't hold up. Let me catch my breath. I can't. Back in the fight.
We make a good squad.
Hey, you have to check in with me to enter this part of the... never mind. Doesn't matter anyway.
Aethys, forgive me. I don't have much to give. The Adiran soldiers have seized so much. There's little left to buy. Please grant us protection from this plague and whatever else is to come.
I don't like to hang around Bareth's shrines too long. Just in case. Wish they had a back.
O great queen that was, have your sway over this new land. May you bring righteousness and justice to these shores and these people. Grant them your justice, and will to enact such laws as make it a great civilization, and punish those who oppose you. We seek your leadership here, O queen, and your guidance. Envoy, we're going to do
This city needs
Welcome, Envoy. You look well. They call them the Living Lands, but things die a lot around here.
Murderers! How awful. Envoy.
Nice to meet you, Envoy.
Is this what it's like to travel with a...
Gates open now. Hope you haven't run into any delays.
You Adirans are...
Not to worry, Envoy. We got one of the bastards.
I don't like how cozy the Clavager's gotten with the Adirans. That High Inquisitor especially bothers me.
It's her eyes that give me the spooks. Looks like they can see into my soul.
The Juana warship Andra as Ngati. My sergeant fainted the first time she saw their statues. Every sailor knows. A gift for Andra and one for Helia too. Don't forget to dust your shoes off.
Oh my. Merciful gods! You're the inspiration I've been looking for. Please, allow me to memorize your sacred features. Let me burn them into my unworthy eyes and dash them upon the canvas. Yes. Yes! Oh, I came on too strongly, didn't I? Oh, ruined the painting I haven't even started. Curse me for a fool. Helia blessed me with the gift of artistic expression, but that's no excuse for rudeness. Oh, please, accept my apology.
Brood. I was going to warn you not to trip over yourself.
I can paint a grotesque beauty or a beautiful grotesquerie, and yet there is little beauty to be found in these dark times. You live in the nether realm between beauty and horror, forever eluding definition.
Hey, don't ask questions you don't want to hear the answer to.
I will trouble you no more. The next time inspiration strikes, I will approach it with a calm, rational mind. Farewell, my friend.
Parodies just wouldn't be parodies without people like him. Militia headquarters. Stay on their good side, and we won't have to go in.
Hail. Welcome to my shop, Envoy. Have I... Yeah, I've lived here my entire life. So did my parents and their parents before them. Couldn't tell you. Been so long the family's forgotten. Don't really care, honestly. We keep the city safe as best we can. Happy? Hail. Hail.
Safe to say, Andra's got a wealthy patron here somewhere.
Welcome to the temple. Hail and well met, Envoy. I knew that our paths would cross eventually, if not so suddenly. You were killed, and yet here you stand. Clearly the gods are working through you.
You're finding admirers everywhere.
I am honored to stand in your presence. You serve a higher calling, just as I do. Even if you doubt the gods, they have faith in you. The Living Lands is closer to the gods than any other part of Aora. That's what my prayers have told me. Now, if you don't mind, I must attend to my duties. Remember your faith, for the gods have entrusted us with a higher purpose. Farewell, Envoy.
For now, that's gotta be finding out who killed you.
Don't be afraid of any plague. With one...
Lady of Lament, grant us your strength. Welcome to the Temple of Andra. Very bold of you to take the burdens of others. I hope they serve you well.
Please be respectful when in the presence of the Queen. Humor me. You've met the Adiran Queen. Does that actually look like her?
Huh?
Sometimes I think having money is really about the view. We should stop by Sansa's sometime. There's nothing like it, that's for sure.
Welcome, welcome! I was hoping you would drop in.
Did the two heads take turns, or was this guy twice as hungry? Admit it. You want to hit it. Just once. I hope whoever stuffed that covered their nose and mouth.
You're back. What have you found?
Listen, this is something I never thought I'd have to ask, but can we talk about you coming back from the dead? I saw you take an arrow to the gut and collapse. Your skin went cold and you stopped moving. It happened fast. By the time I got you to Liviana's, I don't think you had a pulse. You certainly weren't breathing. You must have spent 20 minutes as a corpse on one of her cots before you just came back. What did you see while you were gone? What do you remember? The beyond. That's the realm of the gods, of souls. Well, that sounds kinda nice. What did you see there? Wait. Someone? Who was it? Or what was it? Well, that's good. Imagine how much worse this would be if you had two cryptic entities clamoring for your attention. So, someone is reaching out to you from the beyond. They saved you from death, and now they want you to free them from wherever they are. Do you trust them? That's wise. Well, even in the land of the strange, you have had the strangest experience I've ever heard of, and you haven't even left Dawnshore. That's quite a feat. Me neither. So, this whole time you were in the beyond, and then you were just sent back. I feel crazy even asking this. Do you think there's a way to bring people back from the dead? Yeah, probably not. Still, thanks for humoring me. You must be tired. I know I am. Hopefully that Watcher Runid will have some answers for us. For now, let's get some rest. Rebellion's more like our natural state of being in the living lands. People on the island don't much like being told what to do. In fact, many come here specifically for that reason. And the Stilgarrote. Ludwine and her paladins have been busy in the hinterlands. It's all rumor and speculation, but I don't think they're making your cause any friends. I think you're right. I don't know that these rebels are all that organized yet. But where there's foam, there's rocks, as the saying goes. We should be safe enough, but I'll take watch, just in case. If you have to ask, you can't afford it.
They will not take us by force, but cool and shock.
What's the point? Oh, you are a special one, you are. I thought all the godlikes were taken back, wherever they came from. Don't mean a thing by it. I'm glad to see not all the gods have abandoned us. No, of course I'm not drunk. I'm an alchemist. You should know, this place is heading quickly into a swamp of madness. Even the plants and the animals feel it. Something is happening here. The plants and the animals are changing. No one knows why, or exactly what's doing it. Sapiento di Falva, alchemist and dreamer, at your service. My latest experiment was meant to solve the scourge that has come over the local flora and the fauna, but it wasn't meant to be. I expected my main reagent to be delivered today, but I suppose the gods had other ideas. Ah, quite likely. Tell me, was it drooling? I'd love to... never mind. Neither here nor there. No one knows how best to describe it, but we can all see it. Something is distorting the life around here, and I hoped to stop it. Possibly, yes. But now I can't begin my tests without my main reagent. I have everything I need, but the most important part, the luminous Adra, to cleanse the souls of the wildlife. The gentlemen who are supposed to acquire my Adra have not delivered it, and they seem to be avoiding me, as if they fear my wrath. Oh, it's very hard to find. It comes only from the Deadfire Archipelago, and when refined, can have wondrous effects. Enhanced strength and stamina, slower aging too. I've even heard it has a pleasant minty flavor when mixed correctly. My friends must have lied, or they got the Adra and lost it. I can't imagine why else they would be acting so strange about it. The people of the Deadfire have been refining luminous Adra for its health benefits for gods know how long. If anything can cure this affliction, that's it. Best of luck with that. I saw them briefly not too long ago, looking shifty and desperate. They were running around the paradise talking to other scholars in the area. Ganef and Remio, I believe. And an older lady. Don't recall her name. I'd be very grateful. I know it looks like I'm crying, but it's from the acrid fumes I inhaled earlier. Any luminous Adra will do, he said, as if the stuff were falling from the sky.
The hunters set that up as a way to earn some extra coin.
A pleasure, envoy. I'm Aldrich, the bounty master of Paradise. If it suits your fancy, check the board for work. The dangerous kind. Some more than others. Speak to me when you've got something to turn in. Hey, someone had to take the job. Ensuring that these threats to the good people of Paradise are eliminated is my way of helping. I guess I consider it my first steps down a long road to atonement. Show it here. I don't envy you having gone into that horrid place, but I'm thankful you did so. Be safe out there, you hear? Oh. There ain't many ways into that camp from what I've heard. You might want to consider trying to find them.
frontal assault will remind
You there. You look like you know your way around... hello. I heard what happened. I see why you'd want to protect yourself. Probably because I made them. Or most of them, anyway. Why? He's not a bad sort. It's not like he's stealing from me. No one's ever tried that. They're too afraid of which weapon I'd grab first. You mean enchanted? No. A shield does its job just fine. It doesn't need to be tinkered with. Talk to my sister if you're interested in that kind of thing. She's over there. At least I don't think she's blown herself up yet. I just think... Well, maybe. I'm still taller, though. By a hair's breadth. If I stand up straight.
Right up. I can tell you need more fire in your life. Or maybe more essence.
Please buy something. I'm trying to prove a point.
My sister, the blacksmith, she doesn't think this will work out. I say she's wrong. Why keep a dagger under your pillow when you can use a ward stone instead? Because we're twins. She may be older, but that doesn't mean she's right about everything. Of course not. I wouldn't sell you something I thought would kill you. That's not good for business. I did that once. I had to hire a watcher to get the phantom out. I suppose I shouldn't brag about that to a potential customer.
This is an outrage. There has to be a logical explanation, sir.
That's the father gave me. It went missing last month.
No signs of a struggle. Looks like misadventure to me.
I don't know.
Need coin? See Sansa in Hightown. He seeks explorers to assist him in mapping the living lands.
take lead. Ready, aim. I don't think the new owners like company. The so-called godless people disappeared centuries ago, but left plenty of ruins to remember them by. Hydra on my side. What's the target? Let's see what you got. Hold it, you. Nothing like a win with a good team. Stand back. Right behind you.
One for you! Come and get me!
This looks like the path Othric told us about. Great view, isn't it? You can even see Fort Northreach in the distance. No. Too soon?